Hey guys, welcome back. My name's Rob. Thanks for coming back to the channel. Today we've got something kind of fun. I love these little sheet metal projects. If you're a regular viewer of the channel, you'll notice that I've really been getting into sheet metal projects. I'm having a lot of fun with it. Today we are going to build a sheet metal battery enclosure for this small AGM style battery that is going to go in the Falcon.
Our chief engineer spends most of his time in his machine shop, testing his automats over and over again.
If this thing comes out cool, I might make them and sell them. I don't know. That's just an idea kicking around in my head. But first, before we put the cart before the horse, let's see what we can come up with. Using a little bit of ram board for template, some 16 gauge sheet metal, some 18 gauge sheet metal, and an assortment of sheet metal tools. Let's get cracking and see what we can make. All right, guys. So if you're not familiar with an AGM battery or what an AGM battery is, it says it right here. It's an absorbed glass mat battery. And I think they're still spillable. I don't know too much about this kind of battery technology. I'm pretty new to it. But the reason I got turned on to this is I was looking for a small battery that I could run in the front of the Falcon. I didn't want a huge one. And I saw the lithium batteries, and they're like super expensive. And then I saw one of the guys on the Falcon forum was running this particular battery. And I'm like, does that work? And he's like, yeah, it works great. So some of the requirements is you're going to need one of those high torque mini starters. That's really going to reduce the cold cranking amp that's needed to turn your motor over because it's gear reduced, right? But a good rule of thumb is you want one cold cranking amp for every cubic inch of engine displacement. At least that's what I've heard. That could probably may or may not be accurate. But this particular battery is 325. And one cool thing about these batteries is they're cheap. They're like $100. So I don't know if you've bought a battery in the recent past, but they get really expensive. So now I've already come up with some templates, and let me show you what I've come up with. So this is my bottom side. That outline right there is the kind of the footprint of the battery. And you'll see I've got some extra room there, and that is so I can fold it up and break it. And then this is kind of my top side bracket that I've come up with. It's going to kind of live here, and then if we spin it around the back, that's kind of what the backside looks like. So what I'd really like to do is see how I can make this as simple as I can with just cutouts and then a little bit of time on the finger brake to kind of get everything together. Now where I'm at now is I'm trying to figure out how I want to attach this to this. So far my idea is we'll bring that there like such, and then as this comes down, what I'm thinking about doing is when this lip gets broken up, I'll probably break another step on it that goes out and then lengthen this one a little bit and break it to go out as well. That'll leave basically like a foot, kind of like a pad that this top part and the bottom part will meet up against. So actually what I'm going to do is I'll get some tape and I'll start making that, and then you can kind of see. It'll be easier to just kind of see what I'm talking about then. Okay, here's what I got. So I kind of figured this out. We'll break that tab up, that will go down, and then this top piece will come like this, and it'll break like that. And then I will just do a rib nut or a nut insert on the bottom part here for 1/4 and then do that too. And it's going to be really important that I break all this stuff in the right place so there's like actually tension on it. So that's going to be important. But when it's in sheet metal, it's going to be a lot easier. And the only other thing I got to do is kind of figure out the same situation for the back. So it should not present a problem. So the back we can just do the same way. We'll break that up and figure it out that way. Either that, or we could like cut a couple small slots and do like a hook deal, like where this has tabs and it kind of just goes in there. So the cool part about using this ram board stuff, it gives you an idea to really see the pattern and see the part before you waste metal on it. You can make like adjustments and iterations of it like for super cheap and you can kind of get a physical, you can see it. You know what I'm saying? So any kind of cardboard or RAM board like this is like super duper imperative. I make all my parts, like any kind of sheet metal part or anything like this, any kind of like big fabrication or like holes I cut and stuff, or I use this stuff for everything. So it really is a good resource. So one other thing I'm thinking about doing is, that's the bottom where the battery is going to sit. So it's going to sit in here. Like this edge is going to be broken up, that edge will be broken up, and this will be broken up. The only thing I'm thinking about doing is, now putting those edges in it is probably going to be enough. Like I really don't need to run a bead roll in it, but I think I will. And I think I'm going to do that because if I can minimize the amount of material that is directly bolted to another piece of material on a battery tray, I think it's going to be good. It'll minimize like the places that it can rust, because battery trays are prone to rust. We know that, right? So what I'm thinking about doing is probably running like a perimeter bead, like around like this. And what I will do is I will have the inside here of that perimeter sunk in towards the battery. So it's just this like outside lip of the battery tray that is mounted and touching the sheet metal of the car. And what that'll do inside, so in here, like on the inside, I'll have the raised lip, and then the bottom of the battery here will just be kind of sitting on that raised lip. And I'm going to isolate it anyways with like a piece of foam, or probably maybe even a piece of this, I don't know. So it's going to be isolated there. But I really think reducing the surface area that a battery tray sits on the car is probably better, because in my opinion, battery trays are sacrificial. How many times have you seen one of these old cars with just a totally rotten battery tray, and it usually gets down into the apron and stuff? So if you can minimize the amount of battery tray that's touching the apron, you can minimize the amount of like potential loss in sheet metal damage from a leaky battery. So kind of thinking like 1 or 2 steps ahead when you design parts can save you a lot of drama in the future. Okay, what I want to do right now is I want to take it over here to the car and see what it looks like in the car. So here's the battery tray area right here, and previous to having this giant radiator in it, the batteries in these cars sat this way, so like parallel to the front cover. That's not an option anymore. I've got all kinds of stuff in the way. So this is the way they sit, and that's fine. We can make this work. This is gonna go, oh, that fits perfect. You freaking kidding me? It's gonna go right in there. Yep, that's gonna work just right. Okay, it looks like that's gonna fit great. So we're gonna transfer this onto some sheet metal, then we'll cut the sheet metal, and we'll start forming it. Okay, I just verified both my pieces will fit on here, so that's a good cut. We'll use that. kind of put the cart before the horse on this. I need to cut this tab off so I can fold that in. I did not think about that, so I'm gonna go through and do that. But these first two, a little overzealous on that one. I gotta bring that back, but looking pretty good. I'm about to show you the beauty of a finger brake or a box and pan brake. You can adjust your brake to brake just the things that need to be broke. Like this. I mean, how great is that? That way I don't gotta do a bunch of weird stuff to make it work. This tab ran into that, but no big deal. We can finish folding that over with the hand. Oh, I mean, did we even need to? That's pretty good. That's gonna need a little love with a MIG welder. There we go. I had to pull the table off of it to get this last bend, or else it wouldn't fit. So that, I'm just kind of thinking ahead, and like if I end up trying to make a bunch of these, that would slow me down. So I might have to figure out a different method for that portion of it. But no big deal for right now for the first one. Just do a little more on that. There we go. There we go. All right, cool. Then we'll just pop a hole in there and riv nut. And I'll clean all this bluing off of it so it'll look like something here in a minute. But like these corners need to be welded up. So that's one thing. But when I finish this one, I'm going to make a decision whether or not I'm going to like do a production run of them, because I think it might be something that people would be interested in, running these small batteries in these cars. Or maybe make like 10 of them and sell them, and I don't know. But if I do that, I'm going to cut it out on the plasma table. I cut this thing out by hand. It works. It's straight enough. It's going to look fine for my car. But if I do a production run of them, it'll be a little bit different. And then I'll be thinking more in terms of like what's going to be like quick and efficient to get them all knocked out. But for the first one off, this is what we're doing it, and I'm pretty happy with this so far. All right, we got all the bluing off of the inside. Well, most of it anyway. Just a little bit left, but that's what the bottom looks like. Now, earlier I tried to explain the reason I wanted to do this was because battery trays, like they always seem to like corrode and go away. But so a lot of times that corrosion will go through onto the apron of the car. And I figured if we could minimize the amount of contact of the battery tray onto the car, that'd probably be better. I don't know in theory if it's going to work. Okay, I'm having a little shift in efforts here. This thing's coming together, right? So there's the base plate, and that's the top hat part, kind of sits down here, and then it all matches up real well. But all the cuts, it's just not as accurate as I want it, and it's gonna bother me. So I'm gonna draw it up in CAD, and then I'm gonna cut one out on the CNC. Since that's the way I'm gonna do it, if I do a bunch of them anyways, I'm just gonna go ahead and start that way. And it will probably be a lot more accurate. Well, it definitely be more accurate, and I think I'll be happier with the outcome. So I'm gonna stop building it by hand. Although this is fine. I mean, this would totally work. It looks good and everything. But I'm just gonna, I'm gonna go ahead and just do it in CAD, and that way everything will be symmetrical and nice. And yeah, so I'm gonna get to drawing it now. All right, I took a large pause on this and decided to just draw it up in CAD and let the CNC plasma cutter cut it out because I knew it was going to come out way better. So the first thing I did is, if you're familiar with Fusion 360, they have a like a sheet metal function, and I'm new to the sheet metal function, never used it before, and I'll probably never use it again because in my brain this is a simple sheet metal part, and I knew what the sheet metal piece needed to look like so I could hit it up on the bender. But this was my first sheet metal, and the program accounts for like the bending radius and all that stuff. So needless to say, I designed that into the part. I didn't design it into this because I didn't know it was going to do it, and the battery doesn't fit, and it has these weird tabs. I mean, it looks more like a production part, like if you look at all like these brakes in there and how it designed it, and it's like, yeah, this is the best way. Probably is the best way, but I wanted it to look like this, and so I just went in and I modeled a flat piece like the way I know it needs to be, and I'm gonna break this up on the brake, and it'll come out a lot nicer. So let's do that and see if it fits, hopefully. Okay, now I think I've got something, but it just dawned on me while I was looking at this. I didn't roll my bead in it. Ugh, okay, that's fine. It's fine. I can do it again. Let's see how well this works. Okay. Oh, yeah. It's a little wide front to back, but that's okay because what I want to do is I want to be able to run like a sacrificial piece of like board, or not ram board, or like foam underneath it front to back, so it like kind of encapsulates it if anything were to happen. But this is fine. This doesn't bother me at all. Front to back, it looks good. Yeah, so now I need to model up a top. So here's the one that I made. I didn't model it. I just cut it out by hand, but there's yeah, we're in there. Okay. But yeah, that is sweet. All right, guys, next day. I got a file figured out that I think is going to work for the top part. So we'll get that loaded up into the plasma cutter and let that sucker eat. And then I should have something like together. So I'm using Langmuir Systems Crossfire, and it's like the OG one. I did extend the axis so it like has the full cut capability, and I got a Z-axis on there too. This little machine's worked pretty good for me. I really can't complain. For what they cost, like what it opens up for you. I mean, it's pretty cool. No glove, no love, baby. right, there is a piece. We're gonna start breaking. I'm gonna break this tab first. So this bottom tab right here, that guy, I put that on there as like a hook in the back part. You'll see. So that's the first thing we need to break. Let's see, can I? Yep. Before I get too crazy with all that, I probably need to punch these, I probably need to do those dimple dies. Okay. Damn it, Robert. See, this is the shit. See, this is the shit I didn't think about. I don't think about these things. And now I gotta readjust my drawing. Shit. Okay. Well, this piece is now trash, because, I mean, look. Okay, so I guess what I need down there is not 2 of these big-ass holes. Maybe 1, or smaller holes. Back to the drawing board. All right, we got version 2.0 locked in. Smaller holes now, and up on the table. Let's hit the go button and see all the fabulous ways we can disappoint ourselves. That's one of them. That is definitely one of them. How about no air to the plasma cutter? That'll do it. I need to, I have all the stuff to put a line in from the regulator over here to there. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do it later today. I'm tired of running back and forth and having to do this. There we go. Let's see, I mean, we don't need 55 amps, but we're gonna blaze it through there and see, because I had a lot of slag on the backside, and I increased my feed rate and the amps. We'll see. Like 16 gauge is like recommended like 40 amps, so it doesn't need all that. We'll see. Go to work 0 and start. I felt like it might have been a little fast. We'll see. Woo! Not bad. Didn't really change the amount of slag I got, but all right, I'm gonna chip this off. The procedures are still the same. We're gonna get it looking like this one, except minus the giant holes. And then we'll take it back over there and we'll push those dimple dies in. That's gonna work a lot better. And then we'll get to breaking it. Okay, now we got another part, and I got 1-inch holes in it. So we're gonna smash some dimple dies into it. Better, we're looking like more reasonable. Can you see? Can you see? Let me know if you can see that. Now we can get over to breaking this on the sheet metal brake. All right, so this is gonna be the outside, so we need that coming in. So, whoops. So I strategically put tape measures all over this shop so I would never lose one, so I'd always have one like near me. Doesn't help. Don't overthink it, Robert. This lip is gonna have to come more at a stronger angle. I forgot about that. I'll probably have to push it over with the hammer. Bend it too far. that's fine. That's fine. 1.5 to that tab. 1 and a little more than half. Here we go. Send it before you think about it too much. Okay, one thing doesn't work, and that's fine. We can make another tray. But if you look down here, the back, it doesn't go where it's supposed to. This tab is way smaller than I thought it was going to be, so we need some adjustment there. But yeah, this is kind of what we're looking like. It's pretty slick, not gonna lie. I am gonna pop a hole in it right here. I think a 1-inch hole. We'll do another dimple die on the front. I'm gonna make these match. I don't like that. This should match better. And it don't. Okay. What happened there? 1.25 inches. Way off. That was just an oversight on my part, but that's fine. We can draw it again. Now, I kind of accidentally went into production mode and I made 5 of these. So I've got 5 top plates. I had to redesign 1 bottom plate. So the plan is this bottom piece is going to get bent over and it's going to receive that. So let's go fold this up and see how well that works, or if it does. Okay, we got something. Check this out. So a little padding on the bottom, which, I mean, that's smart for a battery tray, right? And then you have your top here. See, we got our secure lip. And yeah, so what you'll do is you'll just slide it over the battery. And then to install it, kind of rock the battery, right? So the back lip will go in like that, and in the front will just drop down. And I'm gonna drill for a rib nut right now. I'm gonna pop rivet those, not pop, I'm gonna buck rivet those on. Okay guys, we definitely have something here. So I'm just gonna break it down piece by piece here. So our base Here's our base. We went with the notch style to receive the top and the back there. And then I built it with enough room for a little bit of cushion there, just to kind of keep the battery directly off the metal. So that's gonna sit in there like that. And then the way that I found that is easiest for this to work is to put the top on the battery, and then when you come over to the battery base, you kind of like rock the battery into place. So I get it in there like that, and then I can see the back. Oh, my thing is messed up. You get this all situated. So you kind of just drop it in the back. Boom. And then the front just clamps down. And there's a little bit of a tension, so it's nice and tight. And then, of course, the old RD Speed and Fab logo up top. But there is our battery box. And I test fitted in the Falcon. It's going to fit perfect in there. So not only do you not need a CNC machine, you don't need that brake either. I'm going to show you how you can do this at home. So here's my first piece. This is all cut by hand. I cut this with my template. I used my template on a flat sheet, and then went ahead and just cut it all by hand and using that Beverly shear. You could do this with a death wheel if you wanted to. Same with the top. The reason I ended up going with a CNC machine is just so much more repeatable, and I wanted to make a bunch of them, which I ended up doing. So this, I mean, it's the same basic design, and then just you know, pop the holes in it and everything. So you can totally do this project by hand. There's nothing saying that you have to have these things to do it. And then as far as like folding over the edges and stuff, all you need is a flat table, a piece of flat steel, a couple C-clamps, and you know, some pliers and a hammer, and you can make that work. So you're really only kind of limited by your imagination and how you can do it. These tools definitely make it easier, like the CNC machine and the plasma cutter, excuse me, the CNC machine, a CNC plasma machine and the finger brake make this stuff a whole lot easier to do. It really just speeds everything up. But you can absolutely do this project on your own with simple hand tools. So with all that said, we're gonna wrap this one up here, guys. We've got our battery tray. Man, it's looking spicy. I love it. I don't know if I'm gonna tack weld this on or rivet it. I like the looks of the rivets. I may not do that. I don't know. But we're gonna close this out here, guys. If this is something you guys would be interested, like what do you think you'd pay for that? Like if you saw it in the magazine, what do you think that's worth? I've got my idea, and I just may. You know, I did punch out a whole bunch of them. I'll probably make, I don't know. Anyways, guys, you're only limited by your imagination. Get out in the garage, make something cool, and until the next one, thanks for coming around.